2 days. Good morning, y'all. Hold on. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, depending on where you are. I had to go look for my other eyeballs. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Oh, y'all in here, in here. Good morning. So, I was thinking that maybe what I read wasn't even in a book. It might have been online, and that's why I couldn't find it. I'm like, I don't normally have that much of a problem finding stuff. Oh, you probably didn't read it in a book, that's why. Girl. Oh, good morning. And I'd like to, good morning, Pumpkin. You still want to bite, girl? You had me so tickled this morning. I got up, and when I got in the tub, your butt, I said, Lord, and I just chuckled. I know my neighbors probably be thinking I'm crazy because they know ain't nobody in here with me. You heard me, and you had me chuckling this morning. I said, that baby said she wanted to bite several times. It wasn't just one. I know that feeling. And you be like, look here, why is this so low? I don't know. I don't like that. I need it to stay up or something. Can y'all hear me? Are y'all not on my headphones, are y'all? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, you said I had to go out and come back in. As soon as I came in, it froze for me. They playing already, girl. Yeah. Ugh. My grandma came over and she slept with me last night. I was like, oh, thank you, Grandma. I appreciate you. Because sometimes I don't be wanting to sleep in here by myself. Thanks, Granny. Because what? We are in perilous times, honey. I don't play that. I don't play absolutely any of that. Let me go get my coffee. Good morning, everybody. Get what you need. We're going to be in our new books. It's okay though. I can do it. We don't have no specific time. And y'all see, we not even on TikTok this morning. Okay, so or I could just close this door. Hold on. I be trying to regulate the temperature, and I don't want to turn that heater on. So maybe if I just close the door, it'll heat up, and then I can open it back up in a minute. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm trying to let y'all get through the seasons of our show. I figured everybody can do some very extensive homework, and yeah, so tomorrow is the day for that. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sasha. Good morning, everybody that I missed. Good morning. So I don't know who all in here that I missed. Everybody. Hey y'all. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. So you said yes, please, binge watching. Hilarious. I think this is the longest I've been able to hold out with you guys. Normally I'd be like, y'all want to talk about it, and we do. But I think this is a good experience too, because it allows you to go through and see a lot. Right? It's at least when we're watching TV, it's not just mindless behavior. Do y'all remember us talking about that? Mindless behavior. And I told y'all when my kids was young, I wouldn't let them listen to mindless behavior. Nothing against them, great artists and stuff, but I made them go, and I said, well, what is mindless behavior? And they was probably 9, 10, 11, something like that. And they were like, Mom, it's just a group. I said, is it? And we went and looked it up. I said, it's acting without thinking. And acting without thinking will get you in a lot of trouble all the time. All the time. If you don't think before you act, you'll always be in trouble. Right? And they were like, Mom, but I really like the song. I said, I just want you to understand. I know it seems like that's the name of the group, but baby, no. No. And they probably used to sneak and listen to it anyway. But I was like, you gotta pay attention. And they was young. Mindless behavior though. And now they always talking about adults that just be doing stuff. That's the equivalent of mindless behavior. You said it's way different now when I watch them reveal themselves. You said my cousins and I used to bump mindless behavior, but all the adults we knew were either at work or at the casino, so we were unsupervised. Exactly. Probably when they went to their little friend's house, they was singing it to the top of their lungs. I'm sure. I'm sure, because that's what all kids do. But I just need you to understand what you're putting in your mind. Right? And right after that, the one that used to bump it the most, she started getting in trouble. With me, not with school or anything like that. Just with Mom. I said, well, that lesson didn't go over well. That lesson flew right over. Hopefully we'll revisit it here shortly. Maybe in a year or so. I don't know. That's not a fight. I'm ready to fight right now. So you gotta pick your battles when you're dealing with kids. So I feel like we might have read this before in another version. I don't know. And I'm not going to try to figure it out because we've read a lot of things. And so, I am in NTP 2.2. You said my mom forbade me from listening to Nicki Minaj as soon as I got around my cousins and friends. You said, or out of the house. I know. Meg and all that, girl. What's the one girl's name? Rico Nasty. You know who that is? Y'all know who that is? Young people? They used to play that, and I didn't care for it. And I used to be like, listen, I don't want to. Okay, so that person, girl, I used to be like, put your headphones on. Put your headphones on. Meg the Stallion, Nicki Minaj. Now we'll bump some Nicki in the crib. Don't get me wrong. Right. Uh, the girl that's do P Fairy. You better listen to that in your headphones. All those crazy songs. But see, now I know how my mama felt about the Blood and Crips album, and Adina Howard, and Montel Jordan, and Jodeci, and yeah, she dug Mary J. Blige. We could get away with that, but the rest of it, she wasn't having it. You said when your age shows, it was more Pretty Ricky for me. Girl, yes. Still do. Right now. Will. Baby, that, yes. Did. My kids grew up on Pretty Ricky. They sure did. Once my youngest was 4, it's a wrap. Yeah, we gonna listen to this. I'm just gonna pick the songs that don't sound too crazy and that I know they cannot interpret just right now. They be singing it to the top of their lungs. But it was our wind down music. You said my mom's family I grew up with, we were never at church though. You said so. We heard a lot of Nelly, Pimp Juice, and Pretty Ricky. Oh, I know. Oh, my kids have an awesome mix. They have an awesome, all of that. All of that. See, this is the thing. There are seasons in your life, right? There's seasons in your life that you go through and will. But one of the things I always tried to do, it didn't matter what song I was going to play, I tried to play the clean, that's when there was a thing, clean version of everything, right? So whatever I was going to play when the kids was around, it was going to be, if I played it, it was going to be the clean version of it, right? The cleaned up good version. Now when the kids wasn't around, yeah. Or if I'm doing my hair, I'm going to go in the room and I'm going to turn the music on and y'all just act like y'all don't hear it. It just depends on what stage in life I was in. You said I took the you took the words right out of my mouth. You said I remember when there was the clean versions. Now on the radio they play the dirty version. Exactly. Exactly. You said when I used to listen to reggae, my son used to think this one guy was his daddy because I played so much and he knew all his songs. Hilarious. Children. And I believe you because my daughter thought that Chris Brown was married to my sister. And you couldn't tell her that up until she was about 13 years old. Because her auntie has already told her that Chris Brown was her husband. And so she's told people, I said, quit telling my baby that. Because she believed it wholeheartedly. Listen. You said my daddy loved Master P and did, and my mama was and rock and stuff. Oh yeah, right. You and your mama about the same, right? You naming all my stuff. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, yeah. That was about 25 for me. Yeah, that's when I was just really getting my feet wet in the Yeah, moving on. All right, let's get to the word. Girl, you done took me back. Yeah, that was a good song in life. All right, let's move on. Are y'all ready? Cause baby. Yeah. Okay. So, are you guys ready? Did you time and date your paper? Yes. Are y'all here or have y'all went away? They didn't black out the screen already. They not letting y'all type nothing. Yes, I had a flashback. It was great. It was. Life was, you know what? Life was simpler back then. Even though you thought it was stressful, like 2001 to 2005, life was, compared to now, I'll take the 2005 like world over this one right now all day long. That's crazy. Yeah. Anybody else? 2005? Rent was cheap, gas was cheap, food was cheap, the club was cheap. You said the best summer I ever witnessed was the summer of 2004. Music was good and life was felt free. It did, baby. It did. It did. You said getting ready, coffee check, paper check. Good job. Good job. We're getting ready to get on it. Now, to those of you that have 2003 for you, oh, all of them years. I'm just saying, you know, uh, yeah, I wasn't going to put y'all in my business, but yeah. 2003 is when I moved away from my family and just took my kids and left and went to a city where I didn't know nobody. I was 23. That's when my life changed drastically, baby, and it's been on and popping since then. I moved all the way across the country, you hear me? It's gonna take me about 30 hours to get to me. Ain't no popping up unless you buying a ticket, and I'm not giving y'all my, no. Y'all, my feet is in my shoes like this. I probably, if I would have never did that, I probably would have never met y'all. Y'all know that? I would have been trapped in that church mindset of, thank you, God. Moving on. Man, I wouldn't have known really what my salvation was for. You know? For real. I mean, because I understood that God died for my sins and all of that stuff. But 2003 to probably 2012, those were my most spiritual years. Those 9 years, I learned about the power of prayer. Not that I hadn't always lived on faith. I learned about faith. I learned about, man, yeah, 2003 to 2012, baby. That was 20, yeah. You said, wow, same. I was such a church girly. Because how do you know if your Holy Ghost is working if you don't use it outside of the church? You said, me, I graduated high school in 2001. You said the only bad thing is I married a fool. Well, I ain't going to say we all did, but a lot of us did. But then you wouldn't have the information that you have now. Yeah. You wouldn't have the information you have now, so I know I did. I married a very interesting person. I'm not going to call him a fool, but a very interesting person I married. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I certainly did, but I married him and stayed a few years. So I suppose at the time I was foolish too. So I don't know about that. And I'm going to tell you why I don't know about that. The reason I say that is because sometimes God brings us into one person's life for a whole group of people, depending on what you have been called to do, right? So a lot of the families, like I would meet the sister or the nephew or the uncle or whoever, it don't matter. But then I would have to interact with generations of family, right? And this is pretty much every family I've gone into. Like if we were interacting, whether it be my friend or whatever, it would never just be them. It would be, I might have to minister to their grandma. I might have to minister to their children. Like, it was weird, but I started to realize that God never said how our connections were going to happen with people. He just said that we were going to interact with them, right? He never said this is the only way you're going to meet this person and they're going to. No, he never told us the relation that the knowledge is going to come through. Does that make sense? Does it? Right? So we assume, good morning, Auntie. Good morning. We assume that it's gonna come this way or that way, but the lessons I learned in my marriage, top tier, top tier, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because again, I used to tell my husband, "You do realize this is the conversation. I had a dream, and I told you about the dream, and you shoot me off, and then 2 weeks later, here we are." So I started to see God move in a way for me that was unreal, even though I was married to this person, because opposites attract, period. But you can understand what to do and what not to do in that situation. Like, you get a lot of information if you allow God to speak to you, even in those times. Hold on, I done missed a lot. You said I married one too. Okay, you said that's exactly how it was for me. His nieces, nephews lived with his mom, grandma, and I had to buy them school clothes, supplies, shoes, Christmas gifts, and groceries often. Yes, ma'am. Yes. You said for me, this was very hard. I had a baby in 2002, and him and his family conspired against me. They stole my baby, and I went to court for the next 15 years. Oh, I understand. I had that whole thing with my mom. You said their grandma would gamble away the state money and neglect those kids and call them all types of ugly. I was the only one who treated his nephew kindly. Exactly. Do y'all remember when we got on TikTok? When we first got on TikTok, and it would be several young people, I'm gonna say 30, maybe a little bit over, and about 35 and under, okay? Probably about 32 and under. They would come in my life and be like, "Oh my God, TT, where have you been?" And I used to say, hey, be cool. But I've known her since she was 11. I've known her since she was 15, 13, 12. I'm going to get with you. Just inbox me your number. Do y'all remember this? That is because those are the kids that was my situation with them. No matter how much I had, and my son said something to me the other day. 27 years old, 25 years old. I had people that was 10 years my senior moving in with me. With their kids. A whole nine, girl. And I ain't just talking about families, friends. They'd be like, "My friend needs a place to live." And I figured, you didn't figure that I already got 4 kids in a 3-bedroom? No, that didn't. And they friends that be up to be right. So at this point, I'm running a shelter out of my townhouse. I get it. But guess what? There are people that will come back to you, baby girl, when you're older, if the world goes that long, and they will have so much gratitude. And sometimes those interactions are what change the trajectory of a person's life. Small interactions like that, because the devil wanted them to be bitter. He wanted them to be filled with a loss of hope and all of those horrible feelings. And when God sends you into a situation to be a blessing, right, then Lucifer can't get a hold of them, at least in that moment, which gives them time to see God in a different way. Because I always use those opportunities to teach people to call on God, even little kids. My mommy and my daddy are so mean. Okay, well, you could pray and ask God to show them how they hurt your feelings. It's okay. I don't want to get in trouble, but you won't. You won't. When you're getting ready to go to bed at night, you pray for mommy and you pray for daddy, because life is hard, baby. And sometimes people don't know how to say that, right? So even in situations where there's normally a ton of chaos, a ton of drama, a ton of what you said, God would send us into places to reinforce his love for people that might not have ever felt it, or even knows what it feels like to be given a hug, or told that they're beautiful or handsome. All of those different things. It's a real thing that God sent us in the dark places. He said his grandma was always front and center, hooting and hollering at church, but she treated him so bad, girl. It was to the point where if she said, "Get your ugly A out of here," him and his sister knew she meant them. Niecy Pooh, you remember when I asked you why church people are always so angry? If you is constantly hollering, "The joy of the Lord is my strength," where's the joy? Is that why you don't have no strength? In every situation that come up, you cutting up and acting crazy, you're never in control of yourself. And now you want to fight. I thought this was a church place. Because where's the joy? Is the joy in the room with us? They be two different people. Church teaches you to be an android. No? Ain't that what it teaches you to be? You cannot be different in a church setting. You have to fit into their mold and how they run stuff. If you don't, they don't care about your gifts or nothing. They don't care about none of that. None of that even matters at all. It's, will you follow our rules or not? You said she couldn't stand her dark-skinned grandkids. But nearly worse, girl. Amen. Girl. It's crazy how our lives is so much. You said I was one of the ones who let her granddaughter know she's beautiful. That girl defended me when her uncle and them did me foul. Of course, girl. You said my house was the hangout place for kids. When my kids were in high school, I would feed them, iron their clothes, for events, and be a safe place for them. This, yeah. That's crazy. That's why I don't be going nowhere. Because people be like, TT. Why you always gotta yell when you see me? Why can't y'all just walk up to me and be like, "Hi, TT"? No, you gotta yell from across the Burlington. First of all, how you even know it's me? Don't do that. Yelling from across the mall. What's wrong with you? Stop doing that. And that's why I be like, "Can you go in there? I'm gonna sit in the car. Can you go in there and go get whatever?" I've been doing that for years. Once my kids was old enough to go in the mall by themselves, I'm gonna sit in the parking lot right here by this store. Y'all call me if y'all need me. Go on in there and get what you need. He said, "So we all live the same lives?" I used to make breakfast. a.m. snack and lunch for the neighbor kids as a teen. You said their moms would put them out at dawn so they could cheat in peace while dads would work. The heck? I know some people. That is. Mm-mm-mm. I literally was taking care of my whole neighborhood. Yes, Pumpkin. Yes. He said, I think I saw my first live demon yesterday. Her feet look like hooves. What? I'm going back to look for her. I've seen her before and I've given her money. Yesterday was the first time I saw her feet. Auntie, let me take. Where is my phone? What? Here we go. On the day of the eclipse and the stars lining up, you see it through the veil? What the heck? Hold on. Let me make sure the flash ain't on. Got it. Okay. Interesting. Did y'all hear that? And Auntie, it'd be a lot. Auntie, did y'all hear that? Hello? Please tell me you heard that. I just feel like doors was open yesterday. We talked about doors, and then somebody knocked on my door, and Deacon K told us, and then it was dreams about water and doors, and um, they're freezing alive. All my devices ain't even online right now. That's so crazy. Right. Well, mm, interesting. Are they doing it right now? I had to refresh and come back in. It just threw me all the way to the beginning of the live. All right. Well, you said me too twice. It kept saying my internet was down and it wasn't. Mm-hmm. Sounds about right. Okay. Well, do y'all think that it's because of our research? Yes. just so we're all on the same page. That's how I got over here, remember? They keep hunting me down. I don't like it. I just want to be free on the internet to teach what I know and to learn with other people. And they keep making me do hot potato on the internet for the last 4.5 years, 5 technically. Because that's how I got over here to TikTok and YouTube and all of the other stuff. And now we can't even be over here. You said that system just been pinging, going crazy since we've been researching. Of course. You said, so we had a hurricane that originated on land here in the Shah. You said, when have hurricanes ever formed on? When was this? When was this? Is that what came through here yesterday? Baby, because it sounded like the sky was falling in. Wild. They have been getting a lot in the past 2 weeks. Interesting. Indiana as well. Interesting. You said they're telling the Northwest Indiana to be prepared to have no power the entirety of the weekend. And it's been raining like crazy. Interesting. All right. So we're going to go to our other home to have this class. Okay? And that way, if they get to tripping over here, we just about to see what happened. Monday. Interesting. Interesting. We had some crazy weather yesterday. Came out of nowhere. Wow. It was thundering, like shaking the building. Thunder. I said, whoa. I mean, and you know how like it can thunder real quick, but you know the thunder that holds and you can feel the walls vibrating? That kind of thunder. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it was. Like ground shaking. Thunder. I said, you said all I know is that a little air base here is flying all kinds of stuff, which I've never seen here before. Interesting. You said in Mississippi too. On Wednesday, you said weather app said it would be sunny though. Interesting. Indiana is bad. I went over there because my family has a camp site and it was destroyed. It destroyed the ground. All right. Do you have the New Testament Apocrypha, book 2? The NTP, you said I never seen the world in darkness until Monday. It was so dark, it had me and my team shook. The headlights on the cars were barely visible. Auntie, come on in and sit down because you're all in my class. Actually, a few of you are. The ground lifted too. I've never seen that before. Never seen darkness. Y'all are making the hairs on my arms and stuff stand up. Ooh, wee. All right. So yesterday it looked like 8 at night at 2:30 in the afternoon. Uh We Live, I think, has it, right? Or archive.com, I think, has it as well. Um, mm. Raise your hand if you think sometimes y'all be in my business just a little bit. Right, Phaedra? Just raise your hand just a little bit. Just if y'all think that God be putting y'all on to what I'm probably going to teach, just raise your hand just a little bit. Because, baby, okay. Just a little bit. Interesting. All right. So you're going to need book 2 of the New Testament Apocrypha. I'm going to give you about 2.5 minutes to go download it if you don't. Okay. Auntie is scaring me, and so are the other people. Not scaring me, but it's a little wild that you came in here and said that, and you said you never seen the ground lift up. When I say y'all are all in my class this morning, with the darkness and the chasms and stuff. Y'all all in my business. So I'm gonna run to the restroom. I'm gonna get me a bottle of water. You need your New Testament Apocrypha book 2. And I'm about to show y'all how God be telling y'all everything I do around here. You said yes, you have a piece. And have a piece. Everybody get a piece. Listen. Cause what Auntie just gave me chills and the ground coming up, y'all all in my stuff. Wow. Sorry, y'all. Mm. Here we go. No, close this door so we go here. I'm gonna need act like you want to get out. I bet you I'll put my brace on. I bet you I will. Okay. The trees were sideways, like if something came through and ripped Jesus and ripped that off the ground. You said, I mean, a lot of them in a row. It was scary. Interesting. Okay. Here we go. Y'all got y'all book too? Y'all are making the freaking hair on my body stand up. Oh, Lord. Okay. Book 2, NTP. Oh, wow. Well, page 591. Page 591 in the New Testament Apocrypha, Book 2. Say here when you're there. It should say the announcement of catastrophes and the decline of morality on earth. Kind of what y'all was just talking about right now. Ain't that what y'all came in here saying? Ain't that what Auntie and Angie and them was just talking about? Catastrophes and wow, right? Huh? You said just like Sesame Street and all the other PBS episodes talking about a natural disaster coming. Come on, y'all. Here we go. All right. It says, "Here, Thomas, the things that must come to pass in the last times. There will be famine and war and earthquakes in various places." Is that happening right now? Literally. Famine, war. We just had all these earthquakes, 7.4, 6.2. It's been a lot of earthquakes in the last year. Really the last year and a half, 2 years. I'm going to say this and then be quiet. Lightning, like the sky, and the world was bright for a few seconds. Me and my team were in awe because the sky looked so pure and clean. Wow. Don't be quiet, Auntie, because every single thing, girl, listen, just come on in. I'm about to show you something. You're freaking me out in real life, and not in a bad way, but just until you about to see why. Everything you're saying is, listen, here we go. It says earthquakes in various places and sword and great drought. Check. Okay, let's do this. Famine. Put a check mark. Come on. Famine. Can we check famine off? Because I got some sweet potatoes the other day. Sweet potatoes normally be good. Baby, I better hurry up and process them. Huh? You got kicked out again? Is they playing? Over here still? Okay. War? All of a sudden I got 10%. Come on, y'all. When I say they is... Listen. The food is no good. Okay. Earthquakes. Mine exploded. I literally baked in my pantry. Huh? Yo, it literally baked in your pantry? Wow. The store-bought one did. Okay. Not funny. It froze my internet. I had to go out and come back in. Y'all know what they doing. Okay. Are people being killed? Because that's what the sword means. Are people being mass unalived? It's bullets now. Okay. Many dissensions among people And I believe dissensions is arguments, isn't it? Or quarrel. You said they just said to the food banks don't have any food. The food banks don't have any food, and that people are trying to get people hot meals because there isn't anything working over there. Last year and the year before, wow. Last year and the year before, God led us to start putting our totes in plastic, right? I mean, our stuff in plastic totes, right? About two and a half years ago, maybe we start tubbing it up, right? Because at first, kind of everything was just in boxes, and then we started saying, wait, if something happens, we need to protect these things, and so let's go ahead and get them in plastic boxes. Now, Auntie, what happened in your basement? Look at this, how God gave us warnings with people in our community. We had Renee Beanie. She was in Asheville. Auntie, I think this thing is running way far behind. But Auntie had all her stuff stacked up in plastic, and it just so happened there was something that happened in her house. Okay, not to be telling your business, Auntie, but you did share it with us. Just telling your testimony about. You said I'm going to be real sad when my food bank stops having good food. Auntie, listen, on your food bank, listen. Did we talk about the food banks running out of food though, y'all? Did we? I had an ex call me yesterday who I blocked. He kept calling. I finally called him back, and he said, I understand now. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please come back home. We can build and stick up together. My answer, I hope all your wives prepared for you. I'm good. Click. Oh! All the calls is coming in. Let's stick together, right? We've been talking about it. Mm-mm. You said everything is so much more expensive now than it used to be. Interesting. We did. Look, you said to top it off, that was my in-laws' home, the campsite, because they don't have a home at this time, and there is a hole in their roof from a tree that went into it. No way. 4.5 feet of water. And look, Auntie, now the earth flooding like that. You said, you said I'm definitely gonna be praying for them too. You said they give a lot less and about spoiled everything about spoiled here. Do it feel weird to be living this in real life? Something we talked about in 22. Do it. Mind you, you said my father-in-law just got surgery from lung cancer. To top it all off, they have to deal with this. I am so sorry to hear that, Pumpkin. I'm telling you, I am. You said yes, never would have thought it would be in it. You said, and it's exciting at the same time. It feels expected and sad. Okay, it's a real thing. You hear me? But this is it. Remember, we talked about being strong enough to handle the stuff that's happening, and it is going to be chaos, and it's going to be several things happening. You said 4.5 water and still traumatized. Auntie, it's a real thing. Do you hear me? This is why we've been asking God to give us strength to be okay with everything that's coming. Hello? Right? No? This is why we talked about having a strong mind right now, because we ain't even seen the tip of the iceberg. Okay? I'm telling you. Here we go. Among the people, blasphemy, iniquity, zeal, indolence. Now, I looked up indolence, right? It means habitual laziness, idleness, or the avoidance of work and physical exertion. Does that sound like right now? Indolence, I'm sorry. Indolence. Does that feel like something right now? I wish I could just bring y'all here to visit my pantry so y'all could get stocked up. That part, Auntie. That part, Auntie. Listen, it's a real thing. God, listen, I don't know what God is getting ready to do, but I believe He's going to do something big. Okay? It's a real thing. I don't know. Whew. I don't know. Come on, y'all. So it says, hatred. Is hatred running? Are we checking hatred off too? Is that coming through the veins of everything right now? Hatred? I don't like that they're slowing this class down. Check. Okay. What about pride and intemperance? Everybody on 10. No attitudes are tempered right now. Okay. So that everyone will speak that which pleases them. Is that social media? Huh? So that everyone will speak that which pleases them. This is my channel, and I'm gonna say what I want to say, right or wrong, whether it's correct or not. They saying it. You said I'm getting so much flour and meal. I have to keep buying storage buckets. You said I'll meet to drop off some. Drop off if someone is close. Come on, Auntie. Auntie says she'll meet with y'all if you're close where she's at to drop off stuff, flour and meal. Absolutely. Checkity check. Come on. You said no one guards their tongues. Do y'all think that that's going to be a great thing to do right now? You're not going to be able to say anything and everything right now. The not telling everybody your every move, we already got to deal with flock cameras. You said it already is. It's life-saving, actually. Listen. Now we know why God told us at some point in time there are certain things that are going to have to go away. Remember? It makes sense because certain things connect to anything Bluetooth, and everything is Bluetooth right now. Everything. Refrigerators and stoves, washers and dryers, baby monitors, cameras, headphones, everything is Bluetooth, speakers. Everything is a Bluetooth device and has an identifiable number. Everything. 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 Your car, your license plates. I mean, our IDs, y'all. They not Bluetooth, but they RFID. Same thing. Wireless communication. So not only do our phones ping on, it's other devices. The watches that folks use to count their steps, and you said it feels as if everything is a number. Listen, well, let's keep going. Eyeglasses now too. Here we go. My priests will not have peace among themselves. They will sacrifice to me with deceitful mind. Are we seeing that a lot of the people in the ministry are deceitful? Huh? You said those cameras are scary, looking at and popping up all over the place and almost invisible. Auntie, they putting them everywhere on everything. Person of interest. Okay. It says they will sacrifice to me with deceitful mind. Therefore, I will not look upon them. Then the priest will behold the people departing from the house of God. Has the great falling away happened? Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Because they will turn back to the world and they will set up a boundary in the house of God. They will judge for themselves many places that were lost. And they will be subject to Caesar as they were before, paying the poll taxes of their city, gold and silver. Y'all hear that? When I tell you, it is the craziest crap. That spooked the heck out of me. But when I say folks be doing stuff for attention, do you hear this? The weirdo upstairs. Yeah. I don't want y'all to take this offensively, but when I tell y'all some white folks is so weird, it's crazy. To all my white folks in here that I love, some of y'all people is wild. And they will do anything for any type of attention. Do you hear me? I'm trying to tell you. It literally sounds like she's drilling in the floor. Any type of attention would, any type. Do you hear me? Whatever type of attention they can get. Why do y'all do that? It is. when I say anything for attention, if I go outside, you outside, it's wild to me. I'm trying to tell you. Girl, wild and crazy. Single white female stuff for real, for real. I'm not joking. If you've ever seen the movie, I've been living it. Crazy as hell. In real life. Go do something. Again, I told y'all it's always a witch or a warlock that lives around me. Never fails. So when I tell y'all I be fighting on several spiritual fronts at one time, that's what I mean. Do you hear me? And now somebody's at my door again. Hold on. Y'all, give me a minute.